Well, that didn't take long. Here's the situation we've gotten ourselves into on this car. So, guy was not able to come back and pick it up same day. He wanted to come back today, pick it up the next morning. Well, I fired it up before he got there, picked it up, and had a code come on for a cat converter. Well, that sucks, right? Well, luckily, I have this one right here that was for parts that I have a good cat, only 80,000 miles on. So, we take cat from this car, put it onto that car before a customer gets here, right? None the wiser. Happy, yay, and I'll deduct about 200 bucks for the used cat. Well, in the meantime, we take the O2 sensor off from that to put it into the new cat. When that O2 sensor comes off, it yanks the wires out of the harness on accident. So we're like, okay, no big deal, we'll put the harness back together. Put the harness back together. Well, then it started throwing a fucking voltage code for the O2 sensor that the harness had screwed up. So we're like, well, it must be we didn't have the harness right. So I spent 2 hours waiting for the like basically chasing the harness. Customer shows up, waits in the waiting room as we mess with that, order an O2 sensor. O2 sensor still doesn't work. And then we're like, well, maybe if it's not a bad O2 sensor, not a bad harness, maybe it's got a bad computer. So I'm like, I'll take the computer. Maybe we fucked up the computer somehow. Take the computer out of this one, put it into this one, and that still doesn't work. So now we're going to try to find a computer that actually is compatible, because if you notice, even though there's only 1 year difference, these are completely different. So that's where we're at, making lots of money. So now we're getting in a situation where it does not pay off to be me, the dealer. If it was you selling these cars off Craigslist and that light came on, whatever, who cares? There's no responsibility of you taking care of a stupid check engine light for a catalytic converter, which is a common issue on a Subaru Forester of that year. However, now I'm scrambling trying to figure out how to make this situation better, because one, my name is on the line, and two, I want to actually make some money still. So we put a used cat on it, most likely burnt out the ECU or something when the harness on the O2 sensor somehow came apart. So now we have wires that were dangling, we had to put it back together, start it back up, and the code is off for a few minutes. But eventually, once it goes around the O2 monitor, it says that there's an issue and there's low voltage. Most likely when we put it back together, there's a good chance that when those wires came out of the pins, came out of the harness, they must have touched or something when there was key power and fried something. So I'm frantically going across all of the cars I own, trying to find another ECU that looks like this, that will work with it. I can get a used one, but it's going to be about $150 and maybe 2 days. So since I had a customer sitting there, because he had a ride to drop him off, and dropped him off at like 9 this morning, he sat at our lot for about a half hour. Then I brought him over to our garage. He sat there for a couple hours. He's a really nice guy. We're chit-chatting, talking about music and everything, which is cool. But in the meantime, I'm stressed and trying to figure out how to fix this car. Eventually, it's looking like all other resources are running out. We brought an O2 sensor in. I tried rewiring the thing. It's still not working. And I'm not going to send him down the road in a car that has a check engine light that it didn't yesterday. And he just paid like $4,000 for it. So I put him in another car. I have a 2010 with a dealer plate. I was like, hey, you get to drive a nicer car for a day or two. So until I figure this out, take this car, be out of here. And then that way I'm not stressing with him just sitting there waiting. What a nightmare. This is likely going to cost about $400 altogether, because we're going to have $200 for the used cat. We're going to have about $100 into an O2 sensor, and I'm going to find a way to get a cheaper ECU. I'm not going to pay, they want $150 used. I can probably find one from somebody I know for like $80, so I'm going to work on trying to figure that out, and that's where we're at. So it was all rainbow sunshine yesterday, and now instantly it's bullshit, and this is taken up my time when I should be making more money on like nicer cars rather than mess around with one car that I tried to flip to make money on. But this is what we're doing. We're in it. It is what it is. Yeah. This is our last ditch effort, and the only car left that I can think of that might have an ECU. It's a 1 year difference also, but it's closer towards the end of that build date, where 05 is a pain in the ass. We'll see if we get lucky and this has the right thing. So the ECU is underneath this. I'm gonna yank it apart and we'll see if it works. And basically we're doing all this just to test it. I don't actually want to buy an ECU until I can see that one of these ECUs will resolve the problem. Because if we buy a $150 ECU just hoping that's what the issue is, we can use this to diagnose and actually make sure that's what the problem is. Alright, so it's a 4-pin, not a 5. So let's grab the other ECU and see if it bolts in. And like I thought, they're different. Which sucks, because now... Fuck, I gotta get up early tomorrow. Dumb shit. So, none of the cars I have are gonna work. So, the only place that has one that's not hundreds of dollars is like 2 hours away, and I have shit to do tomorrow morning, which means that I have to be up and to them by like 8 in the morning. They're like an hour away, so I get up early. Fuck. This guy's supposed to pick up the car. I told him I'd try to have it for tomorrow, because then we're doing the ice race and it's New Year's Eve the day after. So, what a waste of time. This sucks. Alright, we're pulling back into the shop now. Got ourselves some great news. The only place I can get one cheaper, I either have to drive out there tomorrow and they won't have it ready till noon, so I can't just get it done early in the day, has to waste a whole nother day, or I wait and they'll deliver it to me for free Thursday. But I'm supposed to be prepping those two derby cars and get them loaded on trailers and get to a hotel Thursday. Yeah. Thanks, Flipcar. It's gonna be worth it when we have a Hellcat, right? Right? So, the day is finished. We have a plan. I'm gonna have to get it tomorrow. I have a ton of shit going on tomorrow. But this is the other side of it, guys. It's not all easy. You do have to plan for this type of shit. Luckily, we have the money to plan for it. We made enough where we can handle it. I'll get an actual running total once I have everything finished of what it costs exactly to fix this thing. Please comment, like, subscribe, keep following. It's an adventure, let's do it. It's starting to get dark here. Another thing that really just sucks is that my intention today was to find 2 more cars to flip, and man, what a waste of a day from start to finish. I did get to see some friends that stopped in for like an hour as we were closing up shop, so that was nice, but the rest of it, just money wasted.